This is a lab for Physics 1050, Experiment 4, Conservation of Energy and Projectile Motion. In this experiment, we're going to be sliding a mass, a small pointed mass, through a tube. One thing that'll be important to remember in this lab is that friction is significant between the mass and the tube. It will fly out horizontally from the base and it will land on the tabletop. We're going to analyze our motion. We'll think about energy for the tube part, projectile motion for the air part. As we do our analysis, we're going to be able to calculate the work done by friction and the friction force in the tube. So that's what we'll be doing in today's lab. For your apparatus, you have a small pointed mass. You have a tube attached to a base. We have an aluminum rod, a clamp, a ruler, some paper, and some tape. To assemble your apparatus, you can put your rod, screw that in tightly to the desktop. We'll put the clamp on the rod, put it about the same height as the top of the tube. The top of the tube goes in the clamp, tighten that up. That'll help hold your apparatus in place as you do your experiment. Okay, so that's all set nice and snug. The next thing we want to do so we can record our measurements, take your sheet of paper, slide it under the base, and then just to make sure that doesn't slip around, we can secure that with some tape. And there. Now we're all set up and ready to do our experiment. For your measurements in today's lab, you'll take your pointed mass to a scale, either the triple beam balance or a digital scale, so you'll need the mass. You'll have to measure some heights between the top of the tube and the desktop. It has a symbol of an uppercase H, so you'll measure that height. Best to keep everything in SI units, so use meters and kilograms. We'll measure the distance between the bottom of the tube and the desktop. That's a lowercase h. And then we're also going to measure how far the mass slides. So we'll put the tube in the top. We'll put the mass in the top of the tube. We'll just release it. Be careful not to give it a push. Slides through the tube, comes out here horizontally, lands on the paper. If you look closely, you should be able to see the dot where it marks the paper where it lands. You can put a little circle around that so we can make sure we see it later on. And then we'll do it again, and we'll mark the next spot. So you'll do that a number of times. The next set of measurements we'll take, after you have that all complete, you'll measure the distance between each landing spot and the base. To help you there, you can just draw a straight line across the base so you can get your distance. Okay, that's what we've got for our measurements and our procedure. In our next video, we'll go through the theory and the analysis.